Hey, welcome back to the Throttlestop. I think last time I was with you guys, I was sharing something pretty cool, which was a 1963 421 Super Duty 2.4 barrel motor. What's a little bit more rare than that? How about a 1971 366 cubic inch Pontiac Ram Air 5? Really, it doesn't get any more rare in Pontiac world than this. All right, so I'm plenty excited about this, but let me tell you about how Pontiac got here. Pontiac's part of GM. In 1963, what does GM do? They said, oh, we're not gonna race no more. Well, that sucks, okay? Pontiac was kicking butt, beating everybody. So 64, how do they circumvent that? Well, they come out with something called the GTO. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of it.
It happens every time. A guy goes out and gets a genuine Tiger, a Pontiac GTO that is.
But it's Gran Turismo Omologato. Yeah, sure, Ferrari had that on their car, but it was really a Pontiac thing. Everybody talks about the Pontiac GTO, not the Ferrari GTO. Boo to Ferrari. Huh? Anyways, so the Pontiac GTO is out, kicking butt, making a thing called a muscle car. I don't know if anybody's ever heard of a muscle car, but Pontiac pretty much invented it. Then in 65, what do? They ramp it up. And how do they ramp it up? They want to come up with something new, a new way of adding horsepower. So what do? They come up with a pan similar to this. Now that pan for 65 was actually something you could kind of get through the dealers. It wasn't actually like on the order form, but it had 3 2-barrel carburetors, a metal pan, a foam seal, and on where the hood scoop was on the car, now that was an open insert that you could install. So now fresh air comes right in here, feeds those 3 carburetors. And what does that mean? That means the guy that's next to you in his fuel injected Stingray, yeah, he's gonna be like seeing some GTO taillights. So all that stuff, Pontiac was kicking butt. That's 65. 66, they made the carburetors a little bigger. Actually, it was just the one carburetor, it was a little bigger. They made same setup, the same pan, the 3 2-barrels. Well, what does GM do? They eliminate the multiple carburation. So now Pontiac goes back to the drawing board. What do they got to do? They come out with a Ram Air 1 package. The package was, again, to beat up on all the big block Chevys and the Hemis that are out now roaming the streets. All the other muscle cars are trying to keep up with the GTO in sales. And so now it's a 4-barrel quadrajet, metal pan, foam seal, same hood scoop, but you can get it right from the dealer. It's got better exhaust manifolds. 68, they kind of do the same thing. They come out with 4-barrel intake, foam seal, metal pan, Ram Air 1 heads, which are code number 31 for a D port. But then April of 68, they come out with something to really kick butt, which is the round port design, okay? Again, I'm gonna tell you something. We're not even to the tunnel port yet. This is happening so fast in this time frame. It's just amazing. Like today's world, you have a Hellcat.
This is the last call for your hands to grab the wheel of a current generation.
And the Hellcat's been the same 707 horsepower from 2015 to the end of the run in 2023. This stuff's happening so fast. Every 6 months or so, they're designing and building new, better, faster stuff to go kick butt on the street. Okay, so the 68 round port design, really cool. Again, April of 68. 31 heads was for the D port. Number 96 is for the round port. Far superior round port over D port. What was really weird, so much stuff's happening in this time frame. It's just amazing that Pontiac was able to get all this stuff going. Was 1969 comes along, they come out with the Ram Air 3 package. Well, as things were progressing, you would think, holy shit, Ram Air 3, that's gotta be the best of them all. Well, not really. It again goes back to a D port design. It had good exhaust manifolds, still had a Ram Air pan, but 366 horse. The round port Ram Air 2 from 68 would really kick a Ram Air 3's butt. So Ram Air 3's out. They do come out with a Ram Air 4 package as well in '69. That goes, again, back to a round port. While all this is happening, Pontiac says, hey, I like what Ford's doing over there, winning races in NASCAR.
Blisters his electric blue number 43 Ford through turn 9 and down the straight for the checkered flag.
And we should borrow their design. So what do? They get some Ford people, and they kind of design this Ram Air 5 head. Ram Air 5 is something that Pontiac was so close to getting into production. It just didn't happen. Things like the connecting rods, the insurance companies, a lot of things were happening all at the wrong time. That was kind of the demise before it was coming about. It was supposed to be there. It was supposed to be the game changer. It was supposed to be the Hellcat Red Eye of its time, okay? The car that everybody wanted to have, the power plant that everybody thought was the baddest, the fastest, the quickest. This would have been Pontiac, 1969. 1970, they even had the design on the Ram Air pan to have clearance for the bowls on a Holley carburetor. So every Pontiac engine up to that point was a quadrajet. This Ram Air pan for 1970 GTO has got provisions to clear those bowls on a Holley carburetor. Holley carburetor was only going on a Ram Air 5. So that's how close they were to having this as a production item. Didn't happen. There was engines built, okay, even though they had the Ram Air 5 rods. They didn't have enough of them. The company that was building them, they actually filed bankruptcy and went out of business, okay? So the ones that were built, Pontiac says, hey, we'll hang on to these things. We'll sell them over the counter, okay? Supposedly about 80 complete engines were sold, different sizes. You could get 303 cubic inches. Now that's designed for Trans Am racing, which everybody knows in 1969 was insane. That was the best year ever for Trans Am racing. You could also get 400 cubic inches, which was supposed to be the production Ram Air 5. This one, now we're all the way up to 1971. Pontiac still got this engineering that happened. They were so close to getting this in a production vehicle. They see that there's a Grand National Series going on, and the size of the engines were roughly about 366. Pontiac comes out with a 366 cubic inch engine and says, let's go race.
Uh-oh, a little too hard in turn 9 as he slams the rear end into the hay bales. But he straightens her out, keeps running.
So this one that you see before you is one of those engines. It's a very cool piece. It's actually the correct 485212 casting number. That is the casting number for a Pontiac 366 cubic inch engine. If some of you guys that are watching have the Pete McCarthy book, if you look in there, you'll see that that is the correct casting number. One of the things I just learned real recently here, in that book, they talk about that on the side of the block, on the passenger side, it actually has the last 3 digits, or the 212, cast right in the side of the block, in which this one has. This one also has a date code on it of B, which would be February 16th, or 16th day of 1971. So it's B161. Really cool piece. The carburetor on here is a Holley carburetor. It's not a Ram Air 5 Holley carburetor, but it does have the correct standard deck height factory Ram Air 5 intake manifold on it, which of course is a hard piece to come up with. And I could talk about this thing all day. It's super rare, but let's be honest, we all want to hear it run. So here we go. This thing's amazing. I'm so glad I was able to share this with you guys. Again, 1971, 366 Pontiac Ram Air 5. Again, please don't hesitate to comment, share, like, subscribe. We need all that feedback from you guys. Again, we are the Throttlestop, driven by passion.